Okay, we are here on time at 5. Very welcome to J3 Dialogues. I'm really really glad that you're here for this one because this is a topic that I've been thinking about for quite some time now, both in the work that we do at J3 as well as in conversations with institution builders across the country. University partnerships, right? On paper, they're there everywhere. Most institutions will show you a slide with all these logos and names from global universities, industry giants, government bodies. And yet, if you ask what's actually happening underneath it, the honest answer very often is not much. Sometimes a MOU is signed during a convocation, or you've sent a team for student exchange, some sporadic activity, but perhaps not something very deep and well thought out of. So today that context really matters because today I have two guests who, between them, have lived this question from very different sides. Nandita Abraham is the Dean of the BITS Design School, who has really built a genuinely impressive partnership architecture in such a short time. I'm so excited to sort of talk to her. And Dr. Sridevi Devi Reddy, who has spent decades building this connective tissue between industry, academia, the innovation, and the entrepreneurial ecosystem in India. So, welcome both Sri Devi and Nandita. Thank you so much for doing this for us. We are so glad to have you and really looking forward for a provocative discussion. And not there are so many people who will give you the right answers, but knowing you two firebrands, I know you won't be so politically correct. So instead of just highlights of our successes, I'm also going to be looking at things that you thought people could do better. So without further ado, let's straight jump into questions. Is that okay, Nandita, Sridevi?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure. Thank you.
So, let's start with you, Nandita. You have the BITS Design School is so young, just a few years old, but you've already built collaborations with, I think, Alto and Arizona State and RMIT and Stanford D School, which is notorious for not doing partnerships. That's quite a deliberate portfolio, not an accident. How did you go about building this out? I'm so curious to know.
Thanks, Nidhi. And I'm so excited also. Thank you for having me here. Um, I think right at the start, because we were a brand new school and we did not want to wait 60 years to create something or become something, it was important to be or to have partners who were maybe the best in the world so that we could learn from them. But then you can't just go to somebody and then expect them to partner with you. And actually, we had nothing. I mean, of course, we had the backing of Bits Pilani, but what we did have was a vision, was a dream of something that we wanted to be and kind of like how we were going to be, how we were going to get there. And I think something about that made sense because it intrigued people. It also aligned with their visions, maybe that who we want to do this. And imagine that there's somebody sitting in India who's talking about this. So maybe that's something exciting in there. I think that every partnership has to make sense for both people, but it doesn't have to make the same sense. For example, I mean, if both people are good at the same thing, then maybe they don't need that partnership. So these universities have something that I want,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
maybe we also have an opportunity that they're looking for and that they don't have. So I think that maybe that's what made it a good match.
It's funny you say that, and we're going to dig deeper into these win-win situations a little bit later, right? But you've also done some very different kinds of partnerships.
Hmm.
And so why don't you talk about some of these that you're really proud about, the
Sure.
non-traditional ones?
Like, I think every partnership is different, but maybe I'll talk about a few of the ones that I feel very close to my heart. Um, the first one maybe is a partnership that was done between Pearl Academy and the Fashion Design Council of India. So, all colleges or all fashion colleges tie up with one designer or the other. And we said, look, if you really want to make a difference and if we really want to have impact on our students, why should we not tie up with an association that has 200 designers in it?
Mm-hmm.
And that really opened the doors up for the students, for the people they could meet, for the shows they could attend, the shows they could show their products at, etc. So I think that I think it's probably the first time in the world that a college has tied up with the association of, or like a fashion college has tied up with the association of fashion designers. So I think that was special because it was maybe spectacular and had a lot of impact. Maybe another one that which is close to my heart is a partnership we did with the Tihar jail.
Wow.
And it's important for every partnership to ask the question, how are the students going to benefit? Like, what's in it for the students? You can do it around anything, but at the end of the day, we're all educational institutes. We want to develop knowledge. What is the impact that that it will have on students? So at the Tihar jail, we took our students there. Of course, there was a really nice DG of
Mm-hmm.
police, and talk to the women inmates. And one of the insights that the students got were they were actually worried about going out. Like when they go back to their families, nobody will accept them. And they almost found it safer to be in the jail than to be outside. And
Sure.
so with that insight, we developed a fashion lab and trained inmates in stitching, in entrepreneurship, in printing, in the hope that when they go out, even if it's a small business, but they would be able to bring respect to themselves and to their families or to their children, in a small way. And I think it had an immense impact on the students because they could see the transformation. It also has had a really big impact. I think about 2 years ago, the count was about 300 inmates that went through it. And this is a program that is carrying. So it was done for the inmates. There was a purpose, but we used a design thinking lens to understand what is it that they could use. Can I say one more?
Yeah, yeah, sure,
Okay,
sure,
one
of course.
last one, and then I'll stop.
Mhm.
Um, there is a university in the UK called Northumbria University, and they were interested in craft, and there was like craft was going away
Mhm.
UK because people were going into more regular jobs.
Mechanized and
Yeah.
yeah.
So they had I mean, we were talking, and then we tried to look at, is there a similar situation in India? And we found out that in Ranthambore, when they made the national park,
Mm-hmm.
three villages were displaced.
Mm-hmm.
And those people in the displaced villages had no livelihood. The
Mm-hmm.
houses were taken out and they were given huts somewhere else. So Northumbria and us and Dastakar
Mm-hmm.
spent time, I think over 6 months in these villages to understand what is the inherent crafts, the kolam that they do outside or the pictures that they drew of the tiger. I don't know if you've seen that Dastakar Ranthambore
Yes.
tiger. So that came
Yes.
out of that.
Oh,
Um, and the way they maybe repaired their quilts or
yeah.
they made some, and then helped develop products based on that. So it gives them pride in what they're doing, etc. So this is a three-party agreement. For us, it gave our students great exposure. For Dastakar Ranthambore, they had, and now they are a thriving. Ranthambore is a separate unit within Dastakar, and
Mm.
Northumbria actually started a master's
In
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 crafts.
crafts.
So everybody benefited in a different way. And it's not that everything is fabulous. Okay.
Mm.
I mean, many problems happen along the way. But I think, yeah, I don't know whether I'll wait and then you can
Yeah.
ask more questions.
I will, and we'll focus on some failures too. But
Yeah.
here I really want to admire the fact that even looking at students and their benefits when you are designing or developing partnerships, you're also looking at their place in society in some sense, getting them aware, getting them grounded, getting them to understand the environment that they're going to operate. And that's what all partnerships are, like giving them access to rooms and spaces that they perhaps wouldn't have. So that's really great. I'm going to move on to Devi. Nandita spoke about industry associations, and I wanted to come to you with that. You have been part of so many industry associations. You chair an industry association yourself. Um, Looking from the outside in some sense, uh, what do you think academic institutions need to do to really collaborate with associations or even industry in general?
I'll start with thank you, Nidhi, and thank you, Nandita, for setting the context. But tall order, I'm not trying to, it'll be difficult for me to match it.
No,
So
no.
that said, um, all my life, 28 years of WorkX,
Mm-hmm.
worked in different capacities. Last have been a catalyst between industry and academia. I'll put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever role I am in, I am a catalyst.
Mm-hmm.
I think I should be given a badge of honor that I'm a catalyst. Okay, whether that's the pull that you get when you're a catalyst to be part of industry bodies, to be
Mm-hmm.
part of major ecosystem enabling events, to be
Mm-hmm.
part of major initiatives by the government also.
Mm-hmm.
Government pulls you up and requests you to chair something, coordinate something, things like that. I have seen the whole spectrum 25 years ago, the way academia was,
Mm-hmm.
last 15 years ago, how it was, in the last 5 years, what are the rapid changes that are happening?
Mm-hmm.
You must have, all of you must have observed post COVID,
Sure,
the
sure.
changes. These are all very sharp. These are all very, some are very aggressive, some are not.
Mm-hmm.
That said, I personally think industry academia collaboration per se in India, given the scope, is very dismal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm being very candid. Given the scope, comparative theory of relativity,
So given
the
what it could be, what it could
exactly
be. Mm-hmm.
it can be a mountain and you are just an anthill.
Mm-hmm.
That's the scope you have. But
Mm-hmm.
that said, there are some good companies which are doing a lot of work. There are some good academic institutions that are doing a lot of work, but
Mm-hmm.
the percentage is minuscule.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The moment we stop thinking about collaboration or partnership and start thinking as co-creation,
Mm-hmm.
the game changes. The thought process changes.
I think Nandita
That
also alluded to that, right? That win-win situation. Yeah, yeah, please go
the
ahead.
co-creation mindset, frankly, I'm sure all of you know about these examples. I mean, I'm from the semiconductor field. I'm currently heading HR and corporate communication for a semiconductor unit. So even for semiconductors, as you can see, Indian Institute of Sciences in Bangalore has been collaborating with Texas Instruments since yeoman years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So it's a joint research on chip design.
Mm-hmm.
Tangible outcomes will not come now. That longevity, that long term thinking needs to be there, which doesn't seem to be there in many corporates, sometime in the academicians also, because they are more focused on papers, they're more focused on something else versus product innovation. I worked
Mm-hmm.
in academia as well, in case you haven't seen, I'm sure you guys. Directly, I've worked for
Yeah.
6 years in academia. And
Mm-hmm.
even now, I'm on the governing board, advisory board, boards of three, four prestigious institutions in the country. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
seeing it day in, day out, what is happening there. So the
So,
academic mindset versus the corporate mindset, somewhere in between we need to come. So, as both of you are well aware, all said and done, there's a lot of cultural mismatch. Somebody has to come to the middle path and try to
So,
iron out things. Then
so
only
basically, what you're saying is like, both industry and academia have to start understanding what the other person wants first and come to a some sort of mid path for those partnerships to work.
mid path as well as the behavioral changes. For example, I will say academia has longer timelines.
Mm-hmm.
You have you value depth, rigor, and peer validation.
Mm-hmm.
No offense,
Mm-hmm.
but in industry, we are driven by speed. We
Mm-hmm.
have strict timelines, and our market windows are very small. So
Mm.
where do we go?
Mm-hmm. True, true. I think this
Right.
is something that we've always been sort of grappling with, right? And so when you look at industries and the corporate world, uh, if you want, what is the reason why they would partner with academic institutions? What is it that industry wants from academic institutions?
Industry wants a partner in crime. Industry wants to milk the academic brain. Industry wants the what you call young talent to be involved in it, which at a later point they can absorb also into their organizations. This is what I'll give you a very beautiful. Of course, there are n number of Indian examples,
Mm-hmm.
but there is an example very close to my heart. In 2018, I was in UK, and on the invitation of a prof, I visited Warwick
Mm-hmm.
Manufacturing Unit,
Correct.
WMC. I could see with my own eyes the instead of sitting in their AC cabins, the corporate people were sitting in Warwick along with the students in their labs and working. It's not that we are giving you a problem statement, you sit and work and give me the output.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody together. There was a team where few students were there, few postgraduate students, few PhD students, few profs, I think one prof, and rest were all the corporate guys. I don't want to mince my words. It's land, it's the Jagger. They were developing the all electric Jagger there. It
Mm-hmm.
was including the body was developed there. It was beautiful tomato red color body. It was placed there. I it was such a beautiful moment to see all that, how it happened, where it happened. Like I don't know. It's a what is needed today is a strong layer in between. I will call it a program management layer or a catalyst layer in between in any collaborative project, which will bring the the academic mindset and the corporate mindset to come to the mid path, or you can say we'll try to bridge them or bridge the two cultures, I would say. So I think if every collaboration has somebody like that in between,
Mm-hmm.
who takes up the role, which can be somebody from either of the entities, but if they can take up that role, I could see that there was a professor who was from the industry who came to academia, and that professor was bridging that gap, was
That's a
bridging the
very
two
interesting
cultures.
idea. That's a very interesting idea to have like almost like a third party, if you want to call them, or like a group or something who's in charge of this partnership and making this partnership
Again, I'm
work.
coming. It was not a partnership. They
Mhm.
were co-creating the future.
Ah,
There's a lot of difference, when you feel that, you're co-creating something. So I have been in the innovation space for the last 15 years. So that creating something, co-creating the electric future, that was the titles there. We are changing the electric future, or we are co-creating the future kind. So there was this Land Rover team, there was this WMC, we call it WMC faculty, and few students. Other than their academics, those students were involved this as well, and this also gets credits there, by the way.
So
I
almost
still remember you were asking me about success thing. This is the success. In one of the academic institutions I was working for, there was a project with industry people wanted to give, but faculty were not ready to leave these students to do those projects, to solve those problems. They were telling this is more important. That is, always you go and sit in the innovation center. You are never in the classroom. We will not give you attendance, things like that. And those kids used to come crying to me, ask for me for a letter with my signature and stamp, that this student has been working on this innovation project. So kindly allow him to sit for exams. Can you believe this?
Sridevi, that's a very provocative statement, and I'm going to go to Nandita with this because in some way, Sridevi is so right, right? Unless faculty are bought into the conversation, it's hard for partnerships to survive. So, how do you manage partnerships, and how do you sort of involve faculty in this entire partnership game, Nandita?
Yeah, I think that partnerships are not convenient because it's extra work.
Exactly. Why should we consider it extra work is my point. That should be part of the work.
Yeah, because I mean, in the regular curriculum and everything that's going on, traditionally, all teaching and learning goes on without a partnership. So you can do a couple of things. One is you can insert this into the curriculum. Just to give an example, maybe in what's happening now, we are now at the end of year 2 of design program. So there is a module called Live Industry Project. So the teachers have no option. We have to get a project that's led by a company. And the same thing is there at the end of year 3. So now this is put into the curriculum. So a year ahead, people will look for collaborations, and we've got 14 projects that the students are doing. Of course, there's a lot of conversation, but that's what I want to say, that a partnership is not something that is easy or convenient. There has to be a shared belief in what is it that we're aiming for. And there has to be that extra person, extra time, extra energy to make it happen. I think in some places it's also culturally there. I am really amazed at the BITS environment, where actually, Sridevi, everybody's in the innovation center more than in the class. But they've also
Love
come
that.
to the university for that. They've come to the university because they've heard that, you can do cross-campus things, you can work with industry, you can have startups. So the reputation has become a place where you can have innovation and work with different partners. And so the students expect it. And then naturally, the teachers also start doing startups and collaboration. So maybe there's a way to build it inside either the curriculum,
Academic
like
curriculum.
what we're doing, or
Yeah.
the culture. So
The culture of
like when I talk about BITS as a whole, it's the culture. And when I talk about what we're doing, I would say that to force it, we're putting it in the curriculum. We even have one module called international collaboration. So there are people running around, or we're all trying to see. So every student in year 3 must do a collaborative project with somebody from abroad. So if we believe in the why, then we need to find those opportunities. It's not easy. In July, we have students coming in from Vietnam and 3 colleges in the UK. These are all, but it takes a lot of energy. So there's nothing it's not about that logo. The easiest thing is to put the logo on the website.
That you're right about that. And while we are talking about faculty, Nandita, I generally do audience questions towards the close of the webinar, but this one is pertinent. So I'm going to ask, somebody is asking that faculty are often the ones who actually have to deliver on what leadership signs, but they're rarely in the room when the partnership is designed. So how do you fix that?
You're absolutely right. And faculty do take a lot of the load. So number one is that bring the faculty into the room early. A partnership is not something that actually, okay, like you said, maybe some people sign it at convocations. But now I think when you're tying up with a reputed international partner,
Mhm.
faculty talk to each other. We make sure that there are common areas of interest, common research areas, and you can't push it down on anyone. You can't.
You
It
know,
won't work.
it won't work
Nobody
that
will do it. Yeah. Nobody will do anything. They said they'll think, okay, you signed it, karte raho. Meaning that it has the buy-in or the belief or the purpose has to be something that the faculty believe in.
faculty believe it. And again, just sort of extending that, and the BITS Design School has done this so well. You actually have visiting faculty from all your partner institutions who are coming and actually teaching uh, at the school. So it's not just some random guest lecture, but they're here, they're taking courses. And so, how do you integrate this with your own faculty, this
So
partnership?
it also like helps. Firstly, faculty have to buy into something. I mean, otherwise, don't go ahead. If there's nobody who's going to do it, then there's no point having a partnership. And faculty have to see what's in it for them. If somebody comes down from Australia,
Mhm.
one of my faculty has gone to Australia. Yeah, they have to see what they firstly, when you get an international faculty, and they're not always better
Mhm.
than us, but they have a different context, a different way of working, and we can learn from that also. Not just subject matter. You can learn from pedagogy, you can learn from assessment approaches, etc. And then when our faculty start going abroad and then come back with that, I think then so partnership is that partnership.
Mhm.
Both have to have the opportunity to do it.
That's and again coming to you, Devi, and we are talking about faculty. So just a question on that. One way of industry academia collaborations have always been industry practitioners or corporate leaders coming back into the classroom and contributing either through coursework or through part of the coursework, if not the full course. What do you think actually will make more of this happen? Because sometimes people come, they give guest lectures, their insights are taken, but it's just sort of goes away. So, how do you encourage more industry practitioners to engage with students in academic environments?
I'm one of them, by the way. So I'll let out a secret. I love students. I
Mhm.
love teaching. I love being with that energy. So it's so refreshing and so um, it's food for soul for me to be amongst them, to teach them. I won't even call that teaching. It's conversation. It's explaining things, that's all, and giving some case studies like this all electric Jagger is a case study I give. Anytime you want, let me know. I'll give you the whole download. And even IIS, Indian Institute of Science, semiconductor design, chip design is a case study, by the way. So things like that. What will help bring more people into the system is what you're trying to ask, right? I'll tell you one thing, Nidhi, is there is one hostility in the rest of the faculty towards us.
Towards industry practitioners.
Yes, it's like, you people don't know anything. We know everything.
Oh,
Sorry,
wow.
that's how we are treated.
Mm-hmm.
You'll not believe that's the reason I did my PhD.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I don't have a doctorate and I am a marketing professional. I have been a marketing professional, been a brand strategist, but I can't teach, or only you can teach this kind of difference. Or just because we don't have PhD, the amount of remuneration that is given, we are teaching for the joy of teaching, not for the remuneration.
Mm-hmm.
But the differentiation between a PhD person versus a non PhD person for various things, I'm not talking about IITs of the world, BITS of the world or NITs of the world. I'm talking about the other academic institutions which are a majority in India. You know
So
it better that the two Telugu
So the
states itself must be having n number of educational institutions,
Mhm.
right? So that the hostility, even management, they want it's good to have us, but they
Mhm.
don't know how to value. They don't know the depth with which an industry professional with 20-25 years of work ex is bringing to your table. Your faculty can sit and learn. Frankly, they should actually, you should tell them also to sit in the classroom.
Mm.
You're not belittling them. You're telling them to, as Nandita was telling, when an Australian faculty comes, our Indian faculty can learn something out of that full lecture. It's not that our Indian faculty are not well versed, it's just another perspective.
Mm. True.
You get it, right? Like that openness to learn, that uh, open thought process to improve yourself. You must have done a PhD 15-20 years ago. After that, what? There is no refresher course for PhD in India. There
Mm.
is no refresher course for various tools which you need to use to teach. Your presentations are done by students or a researcher or a junior faculty.
So you were saying that, more openness sort of to industry involvement and a more widespread.
More
Yeah, Nandita, you're saying something about this.
I wanted to make a suggestion maybe on something that could work.
Hmm.
Because yes, it's possible that when someone comes from the industry, so there's always this threat, no? Who knows
Hmm.
more, who is
Hmm.
better,
You feel a
whatever.
bit insecure, no? I mean, from both sides.
Depends, yeah, maybe both sides.
Hmm.
So one of the things that we've tried, and I think it's just something small, is that I'm not going to call anybody, but it's compulsory that X amount of your credits have to be given by someone from the industry. So the professor finds people.
Hmm.
Professor can go to the industry, head of industry partnerships. The professor can go wherever it is, but he chooses the person.
Mm-hmm.
He also makes it's also his job to set the context right. So maybe they spend 3-4 hours before saying, this is what my students have learned, this is what, and he brings the person in at the right time. So it's not like oh, there's a master class, let's all go and see it. But if the students are learning about some kind of social ecosystem, you're bringing in an anthropologist at that time from say a Dr. Reddy's or someone who's working
With
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 social
communities, yeah,
ecosystem.
yeah,
So the responsibility then becomes the professor's. He will support it.
yeah.
He will love it. He will make it work. He will boast about it
Hmm.
because it's his.
Yeah, so
Whereas
instead.
if the management has brought someone in or the industry person has brought someone, oh, usko kya pata hai? May have.
So basically, what you're saying is develop the content as well as the approach jointly so that it works a little bit
Or
better,
give
or give
ownership to
ownership to
faculty.
faculty. Yeah.
Give
And just
ownership to
in
faculty.
that line, Nandita, it must have taken a lot of scaffolding and logistics, etc., when you were bringing in all these international faculty. See, visiting faculty, lots of schools do that, but not so much in the design school space. It requires a special kind of administrative support, a special kind of environment that you need to create to make these partnerships actually meaningful. You've had faculty from all these institutions that you are now partnered with. So how did you make that happen, and what did you offer from BITS Design School? What did you offer to get them to agree to come?
Nidhi, I don't,
No, and I'm not talking about incentives per se, but what
no, so
did BITS
there's
Design
really
have?
not much. Yeah, I think it's again to share a common belief that we are going to use design to create a better world. And I think that a lot of people around the world are looking at India.
Mhm.
India does give an opportunity to see so many different things. I mean, so much from the vernacular, the historical, the modern, everything together in one place. And it is an opportunity for them also to explore. We have one faculty who did a study between there's a faculty in Australia who's interested in trams, like mobility through trams. And they did a festival between the Australian trams and the Calcutta trams, which are dying. But
Wow.
but that's an opportunity. So they love
Huge
that. I mean,
opportunity.
so
Yeah.
there's an opportunity to look at what you are interested in across. So uh, I don't think it's necessarily about money. Of course, there are many things we don't do well in India. Like we don't people arrive and we expect them to just come and teach. You know what? Everybody needs that conversation, contextualization,
Yeah.
respect.
Yeah.
Anybody who is new and different is also difficult to deal with. I mean, you don't want to. It takes time. You have to try to understand them, etc. I think um, it I'm going back to that common dream or common belief because everybody wants to work for some purpose, including our faculty. Why
Yeah.
should they accept someone else? But if they believe that they can both work together to make something interesting happen,
Mhm.
there can be a faculty of ours who works with craft and recycled material, and there's a faculty from the Arizona State University who works with recycled building material. Now, maybe there's no,
Wow.
but now they're talking to each other.
And that's quite
And
amazing to find those opportunities. Absolutely.
yeah, I think then again, it's about like, so it's not leadership meeting.
Mm-hmm.
For
It's
me,
fun
I
to
mean, my
have them.
faculty are the leaders.
Yeah.
So you create a space where faculty can talk to each other. Maybe we had two sessions of that to identify what similarities there may be. So the faculty that come in from the university for a session like that also are those who are interested. Likewise from India. So already you've got interested people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And then you find similarities. But it is work. It's worth it. It has to be worth it for faculty, worth it for students.
True. I mean, it's only when you see the value is when you're going to do more and more of it
Absolutely.
and better, right?
Yeah.
Just quickly, Sridevi, from your perspective, when you work with startups and corporates and academia, what is the reason you think that a promising partnership doesn't survive? It doesn't go well. That's one. And what do you think? Tell us one where the partnership does go well between industry and academia, or even between a startup and academia. There are so many startups that now find homes. They start off from a university campus.
Yep. First, I'll start with the successful
Yeah,
collaboration.
yeah.
This was, I think, 8 years ago. 8 years ago, the institution which I was part of, we were rethinking about the MTech programs.
Mm-hmm.
What is the need of the hour? Where is the world going? What then I suggested that it should be an industry sponsored or industry co-created MTech programs, else these are not going to work going forward. When I was studying, also the same MTech programs were there. Even now, if we have the same, they are not going to go forward. And we reached out to Scient. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure you know about Scient, which is earlier Infotech Enterprises. We reached, Scient is known for manufacturing excellence, and we reached out to them and we had multiple meetings. I took the mechanical department with me and the registrar of the university, and I had connects in Scient. I was the CEO of that institution at that point of time.
Mm-hmm.
So I just took everybody, we sat, and we finally came up with an MTech in manufacturing
Mm-hmm.
which is co-created with Scient. And it, till today, it is a super successful program wherein the full curriculum was designed by Scient. And first year of academics will be happening in the college. The second year of will be in Scient. They will be interns in Scient. Whatever they learned, they'll be applying. And if they perform well, they'll be absorbed into the organization. It looks like a straight line, but it wasn't, because even to conduct that course, our faculty will not be well equipped to do. So our faculty went to Scient, attended few, lived there in, went to the shop floors, understood things. When the curriculum was co-created also, they were also part of the co-creation. That the whole process, you're owning it. You both are equal owners. It's not like you have created the curriculum, I can't teach or I won't teach. It's and few leaders from Scient came to this campus, were part of the induction, were part of few sessions as well. Lot of it was like marriage between two families.
Mm.
Even today, after 7 8 years of being in place, it's a very they have a separate group called Design Led Manufacturing Group. We call it DLM. It's a very successful program to till date.
Mm.
So I'm very proud of it. And I could see,
So co-creation over there was the key of it.
everything was co-created,
Everything.
starting from the syllabi, starting from the modules, starting from how to deliver the program, starting from the duration. Everything was co-created. Like both the parties were involved in the co-creation, and then it was a win-win for both the university as well as Scient. So it was nice because they also were finding it very difficult to get really good people. And after that also, like after they train them in the campus, these the trained resources leave in 2 years, wasting the money we have invested in them for training, things like that. So this kind of program for was a win-win for them, because immediately they got a finished manpower. I mean, somebody who's ready to
Ready
be
to work.
onboarded into the
Or
system. Yeah.
yes, and not just Side, right? They would be welcome in so many other sort of companies because they've been trained on.
Yeah, yeah. So
And
that was
somewhere where it didn't work, and what sort of went wrong? You've already alluded to the fact that, sometimes there are different, reasons, and faculty not be most accommodating. But something else, why don't sometimes industry partnerships work? If you had to
say
pick one.
yeah, I really think, again, I'll come back to the marriage part.
Hmm.
Managements play a major role. Management also has to be there. Unfortunately, in India, many of the I think I'm giving too many controversial statements today. I just hope.
You're gonna edit it, maybe.
Unfortunately, in India, educational institutions are not run by educationists. They are run by somebody else. I don't want to fill in the blanks.
Mhm.
So, what happens is, um, there is a partnership and it's very critical. A few faculty are involved, a few industry people are involved, or another educational institution is involved. Um, but this faculty's load is not reduced. How do you expect this to work? You still expect this faculty to publish so many papers, so many citations, attend so many conferences, then only his increment will come or his promotion will come. This is such a uh, unfortunate scenario in today's day and age. I'm talking about the typical engineering colleges and the typical MBA colleges. I'm not talking about IITs, NITs of the world. I'm sure, I don't know, maybe they are also like that to an extent. I don't know. But this is the reality. You want it to be a success, give the faculty free hand. Give the faculty some breathing space to invest their time and mind and energy into this collaboration versus telling this is an extra thing for you. A
Sure.
person has only 24 hours.
So I think it's also a question of ownership and across the spectrum, right? From the leadership to the faculty to the students. I think everybody needs to own this partnership in some sense. And that's a great segue into a question I've been wanting to ask you, Nandita. Sometimes partnerships exist until the dean is there, or somebody who's brought the partnership is there. And
Yeah.
once that person is gone, that partnership is gone too, right? So
Yeah.
how do you sort of institutionalize it,
So I think
embed it
yeah,
deeply?
super. And I was putting my hand up for exactly that, to continue on Sri Devi's conversation, is that if a partnership comes in, is brought in by one person, that person gets all the light and show of that part. There's so many examples, even in these big prestigious universities that Sridevi has talked about, where companies give, like huge donations for a lab, and there's one professor who's brought them in. And when that professor goes, everybody's like,
Yeah, that walks away too. The money is gone
yeah,
too. Yeah.
the money's gone to the machinery, because the ownership was with that man. He is the one, or he got the benefit from it, he got the prestige from it. So that's not going to work.
Don't you think the benefit, the prestige is something we should focus for the students? So we are doing for the students, right? So when, for example, a research lab sponsorship has come, think any big company's name, it has come. It is for the students, and maybe somebody like me channelized it, got hold of that guy just because of the industry exposure I have, and brought that person in. But it is for the students, it's not for my personal use. So don't you think everybody else also should put in a hand, and the management should um, get the buy-in, or get involved, and it should go on for generations, or at least go on for years? That should be
I
the
think
ideal case
I
scenario,
think
right?
Nandita was just touching at
Yeah, I
that.
think
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think ideal. That's ideal. That's perfect.
Ideal
Uh,
case
but
scenario.
we're all human, and everybody likes a little bit of the cake also. And I think for something that has to last longer and definitely outlive any of the people or professors who are there, there has to be a slightly larger ownership. You can have someone administratively own it in terms of buying tickets and making sure that everything is ticked on it,
Hmm.
but the soul should be with more than one person, because even though it's for the students, it's always seen as, oh, that is what Professor Raghu Rai
Doing
is
so.
doing for the
Yeah,
students.
yeah.
And then when Professor Raghu Rai is gone, then you're like, "ये वो तो अच्छा नहीं था. पहले से I told you that this is not going to work. It was, lost so much money, waste of this, waste of that." So I think as human beings, we all want to like feel like we're a part of something. And yes, it may be selfish, but strategically, then that's on the leadership. And today, leadership is all over. Like there's so much of leadership at different levels. You don't have to be the owner or the vice
Or the
chancellor or the
dean or the vice
dean.
chancellor.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely. So ownership or leadership has to be given to multiple people, because actually the dean can't do everything, or the vice chancellor can't do everything. You need to have many people inside who own different things. And I think that could be a way to take it ahead.
To take it ahead. And when I think back at some of the successful partnerships that I've seen, it's always been quite systemic or institutionalized in some sense, right? So there was no one owner. There was always a group of people who was administering it, whether it was at ISB and you have this partnership with Wharton and Kellogg and whatever it is. But there was no one owner. I mean, Dean Jacobs did what he did, but there were
Mm.
so many other people who were the owners in some sense of that partnership. And I think
Yeah.
Sridevi alluded to it also, that it's for the students. So why not institutionalize it? So, just Sridevi, one other question. I think oh my God, we are running out of time. I have lots of audience questions, but just one thing about ecosystems. We've been talking about individual partnerships, but universities also have to develop partnerships in a very thoughtful manner across the spectrum. So you can't just
Yes.
have only corporate partnerships, or you can't just have only one kind of partnerships. And I think Nandita alluded to it when she was starting the conversation. I mean, having a partnership with Tihar Jail, who would think, right? But there's a whole spectrum of partnerships that you could create, and you in particular are a big ecosystem person, right? So how do you encourage academia to think about these various different kinds of partnerships with startups, with other corporates, with government organizations? People always get a little concerned. How do you encourage this ecosystem growth of partnerships?
It takes a whole village to raise a child. It's as simple as that. So students need, today's students need lot of different exposures. We as an institution, to stand out from the rest of the institutions, need lot of karma yogis, you can say, lot of enablers to be part of the ecosystem, to be what we are. This is my thought process, and successfully I was able to implement this in one of the institutions I worked in, Warangal, in a very rural area. So even today, those partnerships are strong and they are thriving, and this institution stands tall because of that. It is a very simple, inconspicuous institution, but the faculty, the students, the management think very differently. So it's not the infrastructure that makes an institution; it's the people. It's the people who come out of it or who are still there and trying to do something for the society, trying to do something out of the box, trying to go achieve, climb the Everest, trying to become an innovator in MIT Innovation Lab. These kind of people come out of here when you give them a variety of experiences and at least an opportunity to meet and listen to people from various walks of life.
And so you would recommend that just get as many as you can into the room so that you can then build prospective partnerships.
So I'll give you an example. Like we used to have small innovation challenges.
Mm-hmm.
So we used to call one corporate leader. Examples of, we have Qualcomm here. Once Shashi came, we have Scient here. Mr. Rajendra Velagapudi was the CEO. Then he came like that. Only one corporate leader and one administrative leader, either the collector or MRO of that locality or some other locality. Different perspective comes, and then there used to be one social entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Different people. So like it's like, there was this uh, um, uh, um, woman who just started something out of the blue and became successful in her area. She just fifth class educated in our region. I made her come and address the students, innovation lab students, and this is a perspective. Their eyes open up, their horizons widen, that this is the world.
Sure.
So this is part of our world.
And it's whether you're brownfield or greenfield, developing impactful partnerships is always hard. But Nandita, I want to sort of circle back before I open up to audience questions, and I have like a ton right here. But for a greenfield institution, for a new school, how do you go about building a partnership portfolio? How do you even start? Where do you start?
I think you start with really knowing deeply what it is that your institution is about, where you want to be 3 years hence, 8 years hence, and then go and find partners who believe in the same thing. You may have, I think everybody has partnerships from their past lives. So it's not that you can't contact. And today, because of whatever, email and LinkedIn and everything else, most people are accessible.
Mm-hmm.
But people only talk to you if they believe in the same thing that you do. So I think that is something that can really at least get them into a conversation, and they can start off the conversation saying that, no, I'm not interested. I mean, I don't have time for another partnership. But if you can make the conversation engaging enough and they can see what's in it for them,
Mm-hmm.
then you're off to a good start. Yeah.
Great. I have a bunch of questions. I don't know how many we'll be able to answer, but an audience, one of the members is asking us rather, Western universities are increasingly looking at India not just for academic collaboration, but for revenue, executive education, offshore campuses, other programs. Does this commercial motivation make them better or worse partners? Nandita, you should answer this for sure.
Yeah, sure, I'll answer. Yes, I think if it's just a commercial partnership, like we have been approached by many people to say, okay, let's do a 2+2 because they're looking for their revenue.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing in it for the other team, then it doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, both people don't have to be looking for the same thing, but both things you're looking for have to be really important. So at different stages, I don't think there's anything wrong. It's early for us because we're a small school, but I have seen a lot of partnerships where people are looking for money. And if that's what they're looking for, and if you're looking for your students to go and work abroad, it's okay.
So that's fine too. So
Oh,
what
yeah,
works at
yeah.
that point?
I mean, as long as both people are getting what they want. So you need to know what you want. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, the same thing that they have to offer. Yeah.
Great. So the next question is, this is, I think, somebody who handles partnerships saying that I have more than 10 active MOUs right now, most of which aren't producing much. How can I have a conversation with my leadership about letting some of these partnerships go or ending some of these partnerships? Yeah, Nandita, please.
So some of it, and I think that's a really good question and real life situation. Your leadership may want those partnerships. So the
Yeah.
leadership may say, I need 20 logos for my website. So let that be, but find those 2 or 3 that are really going to be good.
Mm.
Like you get your purpose within. Pick your battles. If the leadership wants a website with 20, let them be over there, but find 3 or 4 that are going to be really good for the students. That's what I would say.
They're your game changers.
True. So find those game changers and focus on them and let the rest be.
Let the others just be there.
Let the others just be there. Okay. There is somebody who is saying, given what both our panelists have said today, what would it take to shift this story across Indian higher education altogether and not just institution by institution, but systemically? Is there a way we can make partnerships easier systemically for academic institutions? Is there any regulatory?
NCRT should wake up. NCRT
NCRT should
should
wake
wake
up.
up
Okay.
and make industry collaboration mandatory, or even for the industry, make it some perks for having academic collaboration. And in general, I'm sure all of you know the R&D spend in India is 0.64% of our GDP. It's high time we increase it. Some country like Finland is also doing 3.4% of their GDP.
So,
US is 5.4%. China is 2.5 or 3%. We are dismal as far as research is concerned. Things like that. There at a strategic level, if there is a change, automatically all institutions will wake up to
so
the call.
regulatorily, you are saying, so there needs to be some regulatory requirement for you to do partnerships, is what you're saying. Okay.
If you remember properly, Nidhi, 2% of your profit should go to CSR rule, mandated it so that people actually do CSR, else everybody was pocketing their profits, right? Something like that. I'm not telling 2% of your profit should come into research with academia or collaboration with academia or something or something. Somewhere we should start. Else we are going to be outliers only. There are very few examples, and all the examples will revolve around IITs of the world, NITs of the world, or ISBs of the world. No offense, I love all of them, but I'm just telling it should be a win-win. So then managements also of these private institutions will wake up. If they make it mandatory, they will also put some extra points or scorecard for the faculty or the non-teaching staff or the teaching staff to so that their report card is different. Their performance indexes, the performance appraisal form itself will start looking different versus number of papers, number of citations. number of lectures given in big seminars, international seminars, Indian seminars, international journals, Indian journals, and all that jazz will come down. Sorry to use the word jazz, but that is what it is. I have seen
Devi
faculty.
is quite, she's looked at it quite closely, I think.
I've seen faculty having sleepless nights about it. After being real good faculty, if you have sleepless nights just because all the citations are not happening or things like that, it's very it's a very disappointing situation.
Nandita, you had something to say about how to change
Yeah.
this whole thing systemically.
I'm just like Devi. I'm like from a different planet, but maybe I've not worked with such large universities. But I I don't feel like something that forces you will make you really do something good. It will be back to putting 20 logos and having many MOUs where nothing is coming through. I don't have a solution, but I wonder if, leadership training in at university so that or some kind of way that or case studies to show that how it's going to benefit them.
So that it's a pull versus a push situation. Yeah. Okay.
Because
Or maybe it
when
should
you
be a
push it,
combination.
maybe it can be a combination because people find their way around CSR. And people will do anything to get whatever, like you're saying, the rankings, the H1 index, if anything that's a push. Instead, if there's a way to have like an aha moment, like, okay, wow, this is really going to improve my student outcomes or student satisfaction or something like that. If people can start believing it, and maybe that comes from the top. Maybe that comes also from leaders knowing that what is the role that they're leaders. They can, create dreams. They can make things happen, which is going to impact their students and not just about power, position, and control.
Thanks, Nandita. That's a very positive note to sort of end on. I don't even think we've scratched the surface of what it is to develop impactful partnerships. I really think we'll need a part two for this. But thanks so much for being here. There were such interesting things for me to take away. Also, co-creation, giving faculty the power to be in charge of these partnerships or be part of the conversation of partnerships, focusing all of it towards students and student outcomes. These are all the hallmarks of great partnerships. So thank you so much, Sridevi and Nandita. Really appreciate your time and hope to carry on this conversation very soon.
Super. Thanks,
Thank
Nidhi.
you, Nidhi.
Lovely listening to you, Sridevi. Lot of energy and like it was amazing.
Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye.
both of
Bye-bye.
you. Let's meet sometime out.